Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. And have you updated your copy of World of Warships? The new patch is out, all sorts of good stuff in there. Balance changes, there's a new map, there's a new game mode, there's a new World of Warships first anniversary. Yeah, really, it has been that long. First anniversary celebratory St. Petersburg Harbour, which is very, very nice, and probably of more immediate interest to most of you. There's now an armour viewer in the port, so you can actually check out the detailed armour profile of all of your ships. And that's all of your ships, by the way. It doesn't work for ships that you don't own, that you're just browsing in the tech tree. So today we're going to be looking at absolutely none of that. Today I've got another cruiser replay for you. This is the German Tier 5, the Königsberg. Sailing the Königsberg for us today on the Solomon Islands map is JCH10. I'm just going to call him Dave and have done with it. I have to admit, I didn't really get along with the Königsberg at first. I think I was expecting a little bit too much of it, because unlike ships like the Omaha, for example, which definitely looks like a mid-World War cruiser, the Königsberg actually looks quite modern. And so I think I was expecting a little too much of this ship. I was definitely expecting a little too much of this ship's armour. One of the first games I played in this thing, I was sailing around, happily doing all kinds of damage, and then the very first time I got shot at, I took 5 citadels and instantly died. And you can expect that to happen a lot when you're in this ship. It's like the Phoenix at Tier 4, and, well, in that regard, it's like the Omaha at Tier 5. The ship is made out of citadels, the armour is terrible, but the guns are good. And, of course, it has torpedoes. And Dave is going to show us the torpedoes on the Königsberg very, very early on in this game. The torpedoes on the German cruisers actually they're not bad. I mean, they have a 6-kilometre range, but that's better than some destroyers at this kind of level. And they're fast as well, 64 knot speed. As this poor old Phoenix is going to find out to his cost. Now, Dave hasn't been spotted yet, so this Phoenix has no idea what's waiting around this corner. At the same time, though, if you have no idea what's waiting around the corner and you know you have been spotted, don't go sailing around blind corners. Otherwise, things like this are likely to happen. There you go, Dave's been spotted, but far too late for the Phoenix to do anything. So, okay, the Phoenix didn't know what was around the corner. He has at least some excuse. The Minakaze, who's coming around the corner after him, however, has no such excuse. 2 cruisers and a squadron of dive bombers, and he still sails around right into this onslaught of fire just so he can get some torpedoes away. There are his torpedoes, and the only thing surprising about this is that the Minakaze doesn't die instantly. Dave gets a couple of shots out, speeds up so he can thread the needle between that torpedo spread, and he's easily going to avoid the other one. In fact, one of them even hit the wreck of the Phoenix. The Minakaze has realised that he's in a lot of trouble here, and he's popped his smoke screen, but he's going too fast to stay inside it. And oh look, somebody else who apparently didn't get the memo about charging blind corners. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Now Dave does take some damage, but he doesn't take as much damage as that guy. I mean, that's 2 torpedoes. I mean, seriously, people should know better by now, but, well, apparently they don't. A lot of people didn't get that particular memo. And what's nice to see about all this is the good-natured banter that's going on in chat from the guys that Dave just sunk. Oh, I don't know if you noticed. Minakaze obviously still in the smoke screen. Dave can see his torpedoes coming from a mile away. That's because the friendly carrier is trying to spot that Minakaze with fighter aircraft that were circling overhead. But there's far too many enemy ships there for Dave to take on alone, especially with an unspotted Minakaze spamming torpedoes at him. And he's taken a fair old bit of damage, so he's going to pull back, make sure those torpedoes don't get him, pull back, get out of line of fire, get behind this island, and hope he... Oh no, he's been detected again. Damn it. Oh, a little parting gift there from the enemy Phoenix. But Dave, thanks to the majority of the guns on the Königsberg, by the way, there you go, nice little citadel. And he was able to get that hit in because 2 of the Königsberg's 3 turrets, as you can quite clearly see there, are mounted at the rear of the ship. But they're mounted quite far to the rear of the ship. That second rearmost turret actually has a lot of free deck between it and where the ship's superstructure begins. What that means in practice is that even though technically 2/3 of this ship's firepower is at the rear, those two rear-mounted turrets actually have very, very good forward firing arcs. Now, they can't fire directly ahead, obviously, but you don't have to angle the ship very much at all in order to be able to get all 6 of your guns from all 3 of your turrets firing ahead. It's actually easier to get the 2 rear turrets firing ahead than it is to get the single front turret firing to the rear. You have to expose more. There's another Citadel. That Phoenix is not having a very good day, is he? But yeah, you have to expose more of the side of the ship to a target behind you in order to get all 3 gun turrets firing than you do to a target in front of you. Now, he's lost one of his turrets, but that's alright. He's still got 6 guns that can fire, and look at the damage he just did to that enemy Königsberg. Surely this guy's not going to get away on that kind of low health. His rearmost turret just doesn't have the clearance to lob the shells. They do have quite a flat firing arc to get over that island. The rear turrets from the enemy Königsberg narrowly missed. There are some other shots going in, but somebody's got to sink this guy. You can't afford to let him get away. But, oh look, there's the enemy Minakazi again, on perilously low health. And again, he's got no excuse for this. Dave is spotted. A whole bunch of enemy ships here spotted. There's the Königsberg's torpedoes. Dave launches his torpedoes, hoping that the Minakazi is going to blunder around the corner right into them. And even if the Minakazi doesn't blunder around the corner right into them, it's going to force the Minakazi to turn away. And he can't turn away because there's an island in the way. And Dave's guns are all ready for him. There he is. This guy just has a death wish. I mean, oh, there goes his engine. He's repaired. He's trying to turn away because he sees the torpedoes coming. He can't turn away because there's an island in the way. And he's dead. And Dave was detected the whole time. He knew Dave was there. Now, this is where Dave makes his first real cock-up, because he knew the destroyer was there. And he still takes a hit from one of his torpedoes anyway. Left it far too late to take evasive action there. And now he's sitting here on 3,000 health with 2 enemy cruisers in gun range. And the Phoenix is shooting at him. Now he's in trouble. He did have one spot of luck there. He didn't take any flooding from that torpedo hit, so he didn't have to burn his damage repair ability. But look at this. 2 enemy cruisers, torpedo bombers flying overhead, ignoring him. There's a squadron of dive bombers coming up from the south, heading straight for him. He starts shooting at yet another Königsberg. More Citadels! Now, while he's lighting this guy up, just pay attention to the mini-map. His anti-aircraft guns are blazing away in the background because the enemy carrier is sending 1 squadron of torpedo bombers and now 2 squadrons of dive bombers directly over Dave's head, giving his AA gunners all kinds of target practice, and they're not taking the opportunity to sink a badly damaged top-tier cruiser. Instead, the enemy carrier is focusing. Oh dear, there goes another enemy ship. Well, it was kind of inevitable. As soon as Dave found the range, all he had to do was keep shooting. That guy was taking no evasive manoeuvres whatsoever. And the Phoenix, bless him, he's been trying. But now Dave's turned his guns on him. Unbelievably, Dave is still alive. No thanks to the enemy carrier, who had 3 opportunities to sink him, and instead chose to fly all of his strike aircraft over the top of 2 cruisers and through a fighter squadron in order to try to hit the enemy carrier. Can we have enemies like this every time, please? Suddenly, the Phoenix has just run out of friends. And Dave hasn't. He's yelling for help, and 2 members of his team have both responded in the affirmative. He's now got 2 friendly cruisers between him and the Phoenix. And the Phoenix is, of course, still shooting at Dave because it's his best chance of a kill. But he's almost certainly not going to make it out of here alive. And Dave, not watching where he's going, concentrating his fire on the Phoenix over there, is about to run himself aground. Yep. And again, enemy strike aircraft coming in. Low health, top tier cruiser, beached, run aground, sitting duck for torpedo bombers. Torpedo bombers don't attack him. I don't know what the enemy carrier was thinking, but it clearly wasn't let's win this battle. So just to recap, Dave was on just over 3,000 health with 2 enemy cruisers, a tier 4 and a tier 5, shooting at him, and potentially should have been shot at by an enemy carrier as well. The 2 cruisers are now dead, and Dave's still clinging to life. He's got 4 kills, he's reset the cap 3 times, 7 torpedo hits, First Blood, Devastating Strike, and Confederate. Can he do better than 4 kills? He's only got 2,000 health left. Challenge accepted. Oh, it just occurred to me, doubtless there's going to be somebody in the comments saying, well, duh, Jingles, of course the carrier didn't attack a cruiser. It's a cruiser, he's bristling with anti-aircraft guns. Under normal circumstances, I'd say, well, yeah, okay, you got me, you make a fair point. But under normal circumstances, a carrier who wants to avoid having his aircraft shot down by cruisers does not send those aircraft directly over the top of 2 enemy cruisers and straight through a squadron of fighters in order to attempt to sink an enemy carrier with whatever survives, and none of them survived. So, sorry, your argument is invalid. Anyway, if Dave wants to get another kill, he's going to have to hustle, because there's only 2 enemy ships left. And, well, on the bright side, they're both carriers, so it's highly likely that Dave is going to survive, whether or not he can get another kill, and there goes one of the carriers, which means there's only 1 carrier left to sink, and Dave is right at the back of the pack. He's going to have to put some speed on. There he is, he's been spotted. Dave is probably at least going to survive, because as we've already pretty clearly established by now, the carriers don't like attacking Dave, so there's a good chance he's going to survive this battle, despite being on a fraction of health for most of it, and getting most of his kills while being on a fraction of health. But can he get a Kraken? I think he's earned a Kraken. It would be really nice to see him get a Kraken. Can he get over 100,000 damage done? The Langley is in range. He's on 91,000. Let's see what happens. He's got the armor piercing loaded. He doesn't really want to set this guy's flight deck on fire, because he's not going to attack him with his aircraft anyway. He wants to do lots of damage. Get those guns firing. Hit him with armor piercing. Let's see what we can do. Oh, those are falling just a little short. No, wait, some of them hit, but that's not a lot of damage. That's 1 over penetration. Second salvo. That's looking a lot better. Oh yes, there's 100,000 damage. Can he get the kill? Come on, Dave, we're rooting for you. Well, of course he can. Sadly, no post-battle results screen, but well, you can quite clearly see from the screenshot at the end of the match. 5 kills, 101,000 damage, first blood, devastating strike, Confederate, high caliber, and Kraken unleashed. Dave, well done, and thank you for sending that one in. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. That's it for today, take care, and I'll catch you next time.